My dear Lucy, I wrote this story for you, but when I began it, I had not realized that girls grow quicker than books. As a result, you are already too old for fairy tales, and by the time it is printed and bound, you will be older still. But someday, you will be old enough to start reading fairy tales again. Someday, you'll be old enough for fairy tales again. I've been thinking about that quote from C.S. Lewis's The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe a lot lately. It's one of those quotes that has grown from a godfather speaking to his godchild into something we all deal with. Growing up, and for many people, fairy tales are not seen as grown up. How can anything made for a child have any depth? Even now, that attitude hasn't changed. Only instead of fairy tales, it's cartoons. I don't know one single kid who doesn't love animation. I was an avid watcher growing up. I probably watched more cartoons than I did books. My family jokes my longer than normal birth would have gone faster if they just turned on the television, and I bet it would have gone faster if it was a cartoon. I remember for a long time, cartoons were my main source of entertainment, while anything live action I found to be utterly boring. Alyssa had something that caught my interest, like puppets or dinosaurs. Oh god!
The Lost World.
This is a real thing. God, I haven't watched that in ages. Cartoons and animation in general means a lot to me. There wasn't a show I wouldn't watch during the 90s. Disney, Nicktoons, WB Kids, Fox Kids, and Cartoon Network. I watched it all. Yet, I stopped. I stopped because while I continued to find something worthwhile, my observations of the world told me there wasn't. The clock is ticking, son. It's time to stop being a child. It's time to act like an adult. Not be an adult, but act like a player in a play. And that's what I did. I packed up my childish things because society told me there was nothing of worth from them. I believed them. I told myself I was too old for cartoons. Normal people don't watch cartoons. Then something happened. When I moved to college, I was on my own for the first time, where the only people who could judge me were myself. I had a lot of free time between work, so when I needed something to pass the time, to find a laugh, to just relax, I started to watch what I knew would give me that. And that was around 2010. Talk about right place and time. Cartoons and animation can teach us a lot as kids, but it can also teach us as adults. This is actually a project I've been wanting to do for a while now, and so here it is. Lessons animation taught us as an adult. Cartoon Network edition. Because as you see, it's the shows on this network that have affected me the most. So let's get to it with something not too heavy. Something easy and relaxing. This theme is amazing and will never leave your brain. We Bare Bears is a simple show about 3 bears, Grizz, an extroverted bro with a bigger-than-life attitude looking for friends, Panda, an introverted nerd obsessed with anime, social media, and finding a girl, and Ice Bear, who...
Ice Bear smells like clean babies. Ice Bear bought these legally.
I know we don't. That works too.
Ice Bear is Best Bear. These brothers go about their day doing normal things that escalate to bring some of the best comedy I've seen that goes just ludicrous enough without losing that feeling of being grounded. And believe me, some of the things these bears get into is pretty out there. Hell, they do one of the best speeches about movies in an episode about being shush ninjas. Watching this show is just relaxing. If there's been a tough day and I need to make my brain stop thinking the bad things, I will put on an episode or 3 and find my state of mind balance out. It's almost meditation watching this show. A lot of that is because this one I feel closely resembles our world. Sure, we don't have 3 bears trying to live with humans, nor can they talk, but they go through challenges and experiences we've all been through. We've all wanted to impress someone. We all have that annoying friend. We all want to prove we can be something more, and we all want to be internet famous.
Oh, where am I?
You promised you'd never do this again.
I'm a lost baby. How I wish there was a small box. For me.
Lord, I can't even tell you how much I relate to this show. Like, no joke, whenever the show talks about internet culture, it feels way too close to home sometimes. Which, some has said, sets the show up to become dated. Which I can understand, but it really sells the show short. I don't watch The Golden Girls because it reminds me of the 80s. I wasn't even born then. I watch it because of the stellar comedy by an amazing cast with stories that resonate outside of the period it was made. Many great comedies do that. Murphy Brown, All in the Family, Meet the Jeffersons shows clearly a product of their time, and yet they feature stories we can still relate to. We Bare Bears fits right into that. A product very much in the now, but with stories that are universal. And it's something I need right now. Let's face it, we are living in not good, very bad, and sometimes terrible times that can make simple things like going on Twitter into a living hell. So when I see a show that's very much like ours, that features a diverse cast, both featured and background extras, and how the Bears can overcome everyday struggles, it tells me that maybe things will be okay. I mean, this is a show about 3 bears coming from bad situations. Grizz was abandoned up a tree during a storm, making him wanting friends. Panda being raised in captivity makes him socially awkward. And Ice Bear, oh dear God. I swear I am not crying right now. I swear! Yet through all of those, they find each other and become a new family. They are brothers even when they are not related. They live life doing their best, and I find that comforting. We Bare Bears is funny, heartfelt, full of optimism, and when I feel the world is too much, it helps me believe that maybe things will be okay.
We'll be there.
So, moving on from something relaxing to something balls to the wall crazy. But first, when people think about animated comedy, the first thing that comes to mind is the Looney Tunes of the 30s to 50s, featuring a cast of unique characters made by some of the giants of the medium that have left an impact few have been able to match. Even later iterations have been unable to do that. The closest my generation got was Animaniacs, and that was a lightning in a bottle few have ever been able to capture. Comedy is hard, and finding the right creators with the right ideas with the right amount of... Bless you. The cat just sneezed. With the right cast of unique characters to deliver on the laughs is a tall order for anyone. And yet they make it seem like a walk in the park. Yes, I'm saying the Amazing World of Gumball matches, if not surpasses the original Looney Tunes. If you have a problem with that, fight me in the comments. I have a lot I want to say about this show. Too much to say. I could talk about the joke that got me hooked.
Run him over.
I could list off all my favorite jokes, cause the comedy here is just...
I will break you.
What? My present to you is a present for me. I've given you the gift of giving.
You thought you could drag me to the bottom of the lake so you could eat me later? Well, guess what, punk? I'm a fish. With legs.
I could show how disturbingly brutal the show is. Like Happy Tree Friends levels of... This show was made for kids. There is a lot going on in the show, but I don't want to talk about any of that. I only want to talk about one segment. This is one of the most visually creative works I've seen, where 2 brothers and their town of Elmore get into crazy situations that, opposite of We Bare Bears, goes absolutely mental, breaking the 4th wall and destroying reality that would make Deadpool jealous. A show filled with references, styles, and humor that constantly pulls it off with ease. This is a show that has a walking evolution joke in every episode with a fish with legs named Darwin. But as much as I love all of that, it's this little musical segment that showcases the heart of the show. It's just a sweet little song about saying you aren't a nobody because you're weird, which is something I've had a hard time dealing with. I was a weird dork as a kid, to the point of being embarrassing, and no joke, that feeling of being weird sucks. You feel everything you do is being judged, and you can't do anything without the approval of others because the last thing you want in life is to have people think you are a screw up. Being weird sucks. But here's a show that not only knows it's weird, it embraces and revels in it. The show is literally made with rejects. Every character was a rejected commercial design by the show's creator over the years, and he repurposed them to give us a show that's done more than I think anyone ever expected. From showing love for anime and Golden Girls, to taking situations like getting mail and awkward friends to the ridiculous level, to just wanting to be with the one you love, or those moments you can't remember someone's name. God, that is me. Sorry, everyone I've ever met. Everyone here is weird, which I can only imagine what a kid growing up with this may realize. While they don't live with dinosaurs, robots, a missing link, a slice of bread, or nightmare fuel, their personalities are something we see every day. Everyone has their own little quirks, both child and adults, and that's okay. They're weird like you and me. And that's coming from a show that does this.
What the? Oh, man! Okay.
Made for kids, everyone! Okay, that's enough laughs. Who wants a good cry? We... I don't think you need me to tell you Steven Universe is a great show. There have been... Hold on. Holy, this many videos. The world doesn't need my 2 cents on Rebecca, Maestro of Emotion Sugar's masterpiece. So let me tell you a story instead. In 2015, I was getting ready to go home after working a film festival. I was living with my family and excited to head back when suddenly, on the day of the flight, I got sick. Like, really sick. We had to cancel the flight, and I was bedridden for nearly 2 days. The festival bug hit me hard. So here I am, in bed, with my mom checking in with food and asking how I'm feeling. Me being a bit annoyed because I'm sick and I'm an adult mom. Yeah. All the while, I'm just flipping through trying to pass the time, when I find Cartoon Network was having a Steven Universe marathon. I heard about the show, but I didn't really give it much of a chance. It didn't seem like my thing, but nothing else was on, so I tuned into the episode, line 3, straight to video. I didn't know the lore, the characters, or anything with the story. All I was seeing was a young boy wishing to know more about his mother. And then...
Steven, we can't both exist. I'm going to become half of you. And I need you to know that every moment you love being yourself. That's me. Loving you and loving being you. Because you're going to be something extraordinary. You're going to be a human being.
You want to talk about being in the right place and the right time? I couldn't have asked for a better introduction. I love you, Mom. I knew I wanted to see more and learned very, very quickly just how good the show was as it put me through the roller coaster of feelings. God damn it, Rebecca! What are you doing, you emotional genius? You don't need to hear me say this show is amazing. I'm just happy it exists. It's just helped me in so many ways. Thank you, Rebecca.
And Steven!
However, there is one more show that needs to be mentioned. It's arguably the most important show of the decade, and we need to discuss it. TeenTitans, Teen Titans Go! Okay, actually, I have a quick thing to say about this. Look, I get it. I grew up with the original Teen Titans too, and I was equally disappointed with how it ended. So seeing the show come back with Go, I get not liking it. I don't enjoy the show that much, and it's okay to not like it. But here's the thing, not everything is made for you. The 2010s have been an interesting decade for cartoons. There was a shift of cartoons being able to entertain both children and adults, and we ate that up. Then comes a show like Teen Titans and Uncle Grandpa that do the complete opposite, and all of a sudden, every internet person needs to put in their 2 cents on how awful it is. Which, no joke, one of my favorite episodes of Steven Universe is the Uncle Grandpa crossover. And I barely watch Uncle Grandpa.
Don't worry, bro. None of this is canon. But this is.
But that episode was just refreshing over everyone taking things way too seriously over shows aimed at children, which in the end, they are. Storytelling has changed, but not everything needs to be serious. Sometimes it's fine to be silly, so get over it. Look, I'm just sick and tired of listening to 20 to 30 somethings complain about the silliest things like how all cartoons look alike, even though they have no problem with anime that are all cut from the literal same template in shows more disposable than tissues on a Saturday night. Seriously, someone needs to tell Pennywise to stop terrorizing preteens and go after nerdy adults since they will freak out over anything. Hey,
Huh?
you want to see the new She-Ra? Oh, there's a new She-Ra? Well, that went dark. We were talking about Teen Titans Go, weren't we? Look, if you don't like Go, that's fine. I don't like it. But please stop with the hate. Not criticize, but hate. The show is silly, stupid fun for the kids. Are you going to act like you never watched stupid, silly, fun shows that your parents hate as a kid? Do any of you even remember Cow and Chicken? Let the kids have their fun. Okay, let's wrap up with the show y'all know I was going to talk about. God, what do I even say about this one?
Adventure time!
This is a show about Finn the human and Jake the dog going on fantastical adventures in the land of Vu, which is actually Earth after a terrible war, all the while being about growing up. To say Adventure Time has left a mark on the industry is an understatement. This show changed so much that we are still seeing the ripples to this day, and at first, I didn't like it. Seeing the ads and the early episodes, I thought this show was not for me. I thought the network had changed too much, and everything about it just seemed so childish. I didn't have time to watch a boy and his dog have fantasy adventures with poop jokes. That was my mindset at the time. I was at a point in my life, I was packing away my childish things. So, what happened? I don't know. Unlike the others, I can't tell you an episode or joke or anything in particular that got me to watch the show. By all accounts, I was ready to let it pass me by. Yet, as time went on, I just had it on. I would be bored and turn to Cartoon Network cause it has helped me pass the time when I had nothing else going on. I just started watching the show, seeing the humor, the characters, and their struggles. The hints about the world became clearer, and it just clicked. Slowly at first, then all at once, I became invested. 1 minute, I'm laughing about the Ice King. The next, God damn it, Rebecca! Why are you making me feel things? Going off to college is an adventure, and I was terrified. I was leaving my family in a state I barely knew with people I hardly talked to, all the while I'm thinking I'm making the biggest mistake of my life. Having that much new put on you is scary. So for me, watching Adventure Time was almost life-affirming. Watching Finn's adventures reminded me of my own crazy adventures I had in my head, but it was how Finn faced the tougher parts of life. How he can find himself in the lowest of lows, and yet Finn was able to grow, mature. If he's able to do that, then maybe I can too. It's funny. I tried to push cartoons away, yet it's cartoons that have helped me out the most. Adventure Time ushered in a new era that surprised a lot of people. From the shows I've talked about here to others not mentioned like Regular Show, OKKO, Summer Camp Island, and now we have Infinity Train coming soon, and so many other great shows I have yet to even talk about. And to think, I would have passed on all of them because I wanted to act like an adult without realizing what being an adult really meant. I thought I was too old for cartoons, but Adventure Time taught me I am old enough to watch cartoons again.
Adventure time, come on, grab your friends. We're going to very distant land. Chase the sun and family human. The fun will never end. It's adventure time.
Hey guys, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the episode. I know this is nothing related to books in any sense of the word, but this was an idea I've had bouncing around my head for at least over a year. And I'm so happy Mikey Newman from Movies with Mikey has given us the opportunity to just do something different. So thank you again for that. Other than that, yeah, I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thank you all for watching, and be awesome, be amazing, be you, and have a nice day.